Left-wing presidential candidate Jara and far-right José Antonio Kast head to Chile's runoff elections after almost 83% of the votes counted. Noboa loses. The Ecuadorian people say no in all 4 questions in the referendum proposed by the president, in a direct rejection of his government and policies. In Palestine, excavation crews returned empty-handed from the eastern part of outskirts of Gaza City on Sunday, after a full day of searching for the last 3 remaining bodies of the Israeli hostages. Hello, welcome to From the South. I'm Sophie Fernandez from the teleSUR studios in Havana, Cuba. We begin with the news. Stay with us. Left-wing presidential candidate Jara slightly leads the polls in Chile's general elections, followed by far-right José Antonio Kast. With almost 83% of the votes counted, Jara leads with 26.7%, while Kast has 24.1%. Both candidates will face off in the presidential runoff to be held on December 14th. In third place is Franco Parisi, with 19.5%, who ran his campaign from abroad because he was subject to a restrictive order for failing to pay child support for his 2 children. In addition, Chileans will also review all seats in the Chamber of Deputies and 23 of the 50 senators, with results pointing to an advantage to the ruling Unity for Chile party. Meanwhile, in Ecuador, the first preliminary results released by the National Electoral Council showed rejection in all 4 questions of the popular consultation and referendum. With more than half of the votes counted, the largest gap is in the referendum on drafting a new constitution, where the no votes leads with 60.8%. On the elimination of the ban of foreign military bases, the no vote stands at 59.1%. Meanwhile, on the reduction of the number of legislators in the National Assembly and the public financing of political parties, the no vote has a majority of 56.7% and 52.8% respectively. The public scrutiny is being carried out with the presence of representatives of social and political organizations, as well as national and international observers.
Although voting has concluded, the transmission of results will begin at approximately 7:00 p.m. This is because the polling stations must classify, count, and generate the records so that they can subsequently be processed and published. The National Electoral Council is making the website, the CNE app, and the digital repository available as official media for following the results of the 2025 referendum and popular consultation minute by minute. It is important to emphasize to the public that it is necessary to update the CNE app on mobile devices. In this regard, we reiterate our call to political and social organizations, observation missions, the media, and the general public to stay informed through the institutional media of the CNE, the only institution responsible for announcing the results.
For her report, the president of the Citizens' Revolution Party, Luisa González, pointed out that the result of the referendum marks the unity of the Ecuadorian people in rejecting Daniel Noboa's neoliberal measures.
And today, with that vote, it is clear that the security of the state and the future of this country does not depend on a constitution that they want to change to make Ecuador the Noboa Corporation. It depends on a government that knows how to work with conscience, with love for the country, and not for its pocket or for its corporation. And in the fight against crime and the mafias, they say that is the constitution that does not allow them to control the mafias. When the prisoners have come out dressed as a military by the main door, when they inaugurate a maximum security prison of 35% to make a show, and they make fun of us, when they have just captured people with the same constitution that has shown that what they are looking for is to manipulate us, but the Ecuadorian people reacts and makes up and says, Noboa, no, this country is dignified people.
Ecuador's civil society and political organizations rejected the popular consultation in the country, claiming it weakens the nation's sovereignty and democratic process. Among its proposals, the consultation calls for a drafting of a new constitution, which, according to experts, seeks to impose the neoliberal and right-wing policies represented by the government of Daniel Noboa. It would also allow the return of foreign military bases to the country, despite the will of the people, who have rejected this initiative. The Ecuadorian opposition is promoting a campaign against the consultation with the aim of asserting the sovereignty of a country hit by social crisis and high crime rates. In other news, in the United States on Sunday, firefighters based in southeastern Texas battled a blaze at a decommissioned power plant that sent a large plumes of smoke into the air. Local officials warned area residents to avoid the smoke. The fire broke out at the decommissioned plant in the Texas City area of Galveston County around 2:30 a.m. local time, and 50 to 60 firefighters from several departments in the area were on the scene through the day. By late afternoon, all 5 cooling towers at the plant that was decommissioned in the 1990s had burned and collapsed. So far, no injuries have been reported. Moving on to France, 2 major television networks went off the air due to a bomb threat that led to the evacuations and police deployments. An individual called a police station claiming that he had placed an explosive device in the building of the media company where the television networks BFM TV and RMC are based, and threatened to blow up the place. In this context, police rushed to the scene, evacuated the staff and conducted several inspections, but found no bomb. The authorities stated that if the person responsible for the message is found, they could face up to 2 years in prison and a heavy fine. Let's recall that this threat came 2 days after France commemorated the attacks of November 13, 2015, in which 132 people were killed. And now we have a short break coming up. But first, remember you can join us on TikTok at teleSUR English, where you will find news in different formats, news updates, and more. We'll be right back. Stay with us. In Palestine, excavation crews returned empty-handed from the eastern outskirts of Gaza City on Sunday, after a full day of searching for the last remaining bodies of Israeli hostages. Egypt deployed excavation experts and equipment, escorted by the International Committee of the Red Cross, to assist in the recovery mission, but progress has been slow. Under the terms of the U.S.-brokered ceasefire on October 10th, Israel is to return 15 Palestinian bodies for every Israeli handed over. The Hamas-resistant movement has so far returned the corpses of 25 hostages, leaving 3 bodies still unaccounted for. The final remains are believed to be buried deep beneath rubble created during Israel's 2 years offensive on Gaza. Meanwhile, in Palestine, the World Health Organization describes delays in critical medical evacuations as a death sentence, which have already killed more than 900 patients in the Gaza Strip. The WHO reported that over 900 patients died in the Gaza Strip due to delayed medical evacuations to treatment centers outside the territory. According to the United Nations agency, approximately 16,500 patients are still waiting for approval to travel for treatment, including 4,000 children in critical condition. Since October 2023, Israeli bombings and airstrikes have destroyed Palestinian homes, hospitals and water networks throughout Gaza, leaving the infrastructure of the Palestinian territories in ruins. In other news, Lebanon's President Joseph Aoun has asked the Foreign Minister Youssef Haraiji to file a complaint against Israel for building a wall inside the Lebanese territory. The President's office said Saturday the complaint should include a statement from the United Nations peacekeeping force, UNIFIL. UNIFIL, which is deployed along the border, reported on Friday that the Israeli army had erected a wall southwest of the Lebanese village of Jara. The wall crossed the borderline, rendering more than 4,000 square meters of Lebanese territory inaccessible. UNIFIL informed the Israeli army and requested the wall's removal, stating it violates a United Nations Security Council resolution and Lebanon's sovereignty. Meanwhile, in the southeast of the Democratic Republic of Congo, at least 100 people died after the collapse of an artisanal copper mine in the town of Mulondo. Artisan miners' associations confirmed the death toll of 100 and reported dozens missing. While the official version attributes the collapse to heavy rains, civil organizations allege that soldiers guarding the site opened fire on the miners, causing the collapse. Also, the Minister of Interior, Lualaba Hroi Kaumba, confirmed that search operations are continuing to establish a definite toll of the victims. We have a second short break coming up. Before, we invite you to visit our Facebook page at teleSUR English. There you'll be able to watch our top stories, special live coverage and much more. Follow our page and activate the notification button to stay up to date on the world's most recent events. Final short break, but we'll be right back with more from the south. Don't go away. Welcome back. In Japan, the Minami-dake crater, a volcano in Sakurajima, in the southwestern area of the archipelago, erupted on Sunday. The volcano spewed a column of smoke and ash thousands of meters into the air. It is the first eruptions from the crater since October last year. Authorities issued an ashfall alert for the surrounding prefectures of Kumamoto, Kagoshima, and Miyazaki. Sakurajima, about 1,000 kilometers southwest of Tokyo. Minami-dake is one of Japan's most active volcanoes. It used to be an island until a lava flow created a land bridge to the Osumi Peninsula during an eruption in 1914 that ended up killing 58 people. Meanwhile, in the United Kingdom, hundreds of tons of waste have been dumped in a file near Kinglington in Oxfordshire. Footage from Sky News shows a mountain of rubbish, measuring at least 60 meters long, 50 meters wide, and 10 meters high. Authorities say they believe the cost to remove the waste could be over their entire budget, and that the dump's proximity to a river might cause an ecological disaster. Friends of the Thames, a charity which promotes cleaning up waterways, said the illegal rubbish dump was created by an organized crime group. The site of the waste pile is adjacent to the A34, a busy road running through cities including Oxford and Birmingham.
Of epic proportions, this pre-shredded waste, which has obviously been highly well organised, is now leaching into the river and into the earth around the river, and is a massive ecological disaster.
Moving now to the Philippines. Tens of thousands of Filipinos gathered Sunday in Manila in the largest rally so far to demand accountability for a flood control corruption scandal that has implicated powerful members of Congress and top government officials. Following the discovery that thousands of flood defense projects across a typhoon-prone country were substandard, incomplete, or non-existent, various groups protested. The Philippines has lost $15.09 billion to corruption in flood control projects over the last 2 years. Government engineers, public work officials, and construction company executives have testified in hearings that members of Congress and officials at the Department of Public Works and Highways took kickbacks to win contracts. Meanwhile, in Belém do Pará, Brazil, the People's Climate Summit, which was set up by social movements to serve as an alternative to the COP30 in the fight against eco-genocide, came to a close today. Our correspondent Brian Meir has more details.
After 6 days with dozens of debates culminating in a democratic assembly in which a series of demands were collectively created and presented to the organizers of the UN Climate Summit, COP30, and top Brazilian government officials, the People's Climate Summit has come to a close. Organizers say that 30,000 people participated in the event.
We demand an end to the production of fossil fuels, and we appeal to the governments to develop mechanisms to guarantee the non-proliferation of fossil fuels for an energy transition that is fair for the people and inclusive with sovereignty, protection, and reparations for damages to territories affected.
Thousands of members of social movements like the MST, indigenous peoples, river dwellers, and Quilombola residents traveled from all over the world to Belém to participate in the People's Summit, many arriving by boat. The goal of the event was to provide a space where working-class urban and rural citizens from the global south could have their voices heard, as a counter to the COP30, which is dominated by government officials, fossil fuel industry lobbyists, and capitalist foundations from the global north.
We have no doubt that the capitalist system, this production and consumption model, is the real cause of climate change. So our proposal with the People's Summit was to externalize our criticism of sectors like agribusiness, among others, while raising our voices to minimally insert ourselves into COP30, which is a summit that is basically negotiated by those who are destroying the environment.
The People's Summit has come to a close, but COP30 will continue until Friday, November 21st. Brian Meir, teleSUR, Belém.
On Sunday, the largest penguin parade of the winter season took place in Harbin Polar Park in Harbin, northeast China's Heilongjiang province. The parade featured 30 adorable penguins, setting a record for the largest number of penguins participating in the event ever. At the parade site, the penguins waddle in tiny steps, guided by trainers to interact closely with visitors. With 1.8 hectares, the Harbin Polarland is the first polar theme park that combines animal performances, polar landscapes, and interactive experiences into one. It is located in the city's famous natural scenic spot, Sun Island, in the north of China. And like this, we have come to the end of this news brief. You can find this and many other stories on our website at telesurenglish.net and join us on social media. We're on Facebook, X, Instagram, Telegram, and TikTok. But before we leave you with some special images that seek to unite the Venezuelans and Latin American people. For telesur English, I'm Sophie Fernandez. Thank you for watching.